Hello and welcome to another in our series of videos helping you get the most out of Centrecharge. Today's video is about getting information out of Centrecharge and specifically to look at how to analyze your billing data. So firstly, I'm going to take you into the report writer and show you a report that has been written in the report writer for you, and then how to analyze that report, how to filter that report by various categories. So what I'm going to do here is just go straight up to reports, click on the custom reports, the custom report editor, and this brings you to a screen where all the folders such as accounts and billed revenues will be set up, and the reports available to you in the folders are here waiting for you to get real-time information. So the two that I'm going to focus on here today are the billed revenue reports. The first one I'm going to look at is the billed revenue all sites by product group and item. To run the report, all you do is click on the report so it's highlighted and double click, and that report will return the data based on the settings that are created in the report. In this particular report, you can see the filters are already preset to run it by invoice date for this year. So if you did want to change the period, you can just simply drop down the duration and change the period that you want to run the report. After you make the change, just remember to hit Run Report to refresh the data. So at the moment, I'm going to change this report so that we're going to look at all records, and I'm going to refresh it by clicking Run Report. And just quickly, let's have a look at the data that's returned. So down the left-hand side, we have the product group. So here are administrative services, beverages, catering. If I scroll down the report, we have client works, couriers, deposits, fax, IT, meeting room services, meeting rooms, and your office data. And on the column next to that is the physical item. So in administrative services, we have three items where revenue has been apportioned, which is air conditioning, confidential waste, and fee assurance. And these are actually the invoiced amounts that we have received in these periods for these items. So you can see immediately how much revenue you're getting from your administrative services month on month. You can also see any trends. So you can see here in October we billed £25.50, but there was a leap in November and to 305. So you can actually see that's because fee assurances were higher, as was air conditioning. We started to get some air conditioning charges in. So to filter this report, so this report is looking at all locations. So if you just wanted to look at this report for your location, simply go up here to the site record, drop here the site that you want to look at, and if I look at Little Britain, just change it to Little Britain and click Run Report, and what this will do is filter that report just showing the results for Little Britain. The report will total and sum at the bottom. So if I go right to the bottom of the report, you'll see here the sums of billed revenue that we've received. Remember, this is billed revenue. It is not deferred income. It is not income apportioned to its correct periods. It's invoice value by invoice date. Okay, so if you want to filter this report on screen, there's a number of things you can do. So obviously we've filtered this by Little Britain. But let's say in product groups you wanted to exclude some product groups that you didn't want to see on the report. For example, you might want to exclude deposits from your billed revenue. So click here on this little arrow, and here are all the product groups. And if we didn't want to see miscellaneous charges here, we can just uncheck that box, and the report will now filter out miscellaneous charges. So you can filter that any way you want. The other thing that you may want to do ultimately is start to analyze this data a bit further by customizing this report and creating your own version. And you might want to say how much of this revenue comes from virtual clients or meeting room clients or from internal clients. So just to show you how to customize this, you can actually click on the Customize button. And here are the rules of building the report. Now what you might want to do is, if you want to customize and put filters on your report, click to the Select Criteria section of the report, where this is the date criteria to build the report. But on the filters here, click here to add a new condition. Just click on that blue link. What this does first, it says what fields do you want to filter by. So I actually want to filter here by the type of client. So I want to do it by classification. So I'm just going to drop this down. This offers me all the fields that I can filter by. And if I select here classification, I can then say what classifications do I want the report to filter on. So if I just say equals and I click on the blank box, I can choose which classifications that I want to filter on. So if I just wanted to filter on office or tenants, once I've done that, I apply that filter, click run report, and then that report is now filtered just by office and tenant clients and whatever they have billed. So it's quite good if you want to see what revenues are virtual, what revenues are internal, what revenues are external from meeting with clients. You can do that just by using the same report and applying the filters. You might even want to save a version of the report, which is quite easy. So if you want to save that, you can save that as, so if I save this here, change the name, so not to overwrite the existing report. So if I call this now build revenue for Little Britain by office clients, I'll leave it in the same folder. You can create a new one if you want. So if I create one here called Little Britain, they can go in there and have their own folder. But remember here just to save as new. Once it's saved, click OK, and that report is there now for you to run at any time, and you just double click it and run it. If you double click and run the report and you want to manipulate it, you want to put it into Excel, you can do two things. You can either email it to yourself or to anybody else, and it will email this report and attach this as an Excel spreadsheet, or you can simply go print to Excel and this report will be put into Excel for you. If you wanted to add your client data to this report, so that you actually wanted to see what income a client had done as opposed to the product groups and items and what they use, again, simply go to customize the report, and this time in this filter box here, just add the field called account general account name. So if I just select that here, it won't be very far down. There it is there. So I select that, the account name, just click run the report. Now this time I have the account name, so I can see exactly what this customer actually bought. So to make the report a little bit better on its levels, if you grab the account name and put it to your left hand side, so you can see here for Allied Publicity Services Manchester, these are all the services they've had. This is the actual items they've had. And so what you can start to see over time is you'll see a trend as to whether they're spending more or less on particular services and items. So you should start to see, as time goes out, a trend for each client. So I'm going to save this report again just to show you the process of saving a new report. So I'm going to go save, and what I'll do is I'll just change this for all sites and run it again. I'll just bring that account name over there. So I'm just going to go save that report, and this report is build revenue by client and group, and I'm going to save this one into the build revenue folder. So, and if I save as new, I won't override the report, and there it is for you to use. So hopefully that's useful. This is meant for the guys at Office Space in Town, so obviously it's your data. There's some useful reports which I've set up there for you to use whenever you like, which will help you just to track the build revenue. Thanks very much.